Miss.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with another episode of Trailer Trash Talk's Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. We're going in, well, I guess week 3's already started since we're recording this on a Saturday. So, before the main day of games on week 3, this is our midweek-ish preview video, I guess you call it.
Week 2 review. Yeah, all the above.
So, why don't you get us started with the week 2 reviews then?
Alright, we're going to jump right in here, guys. So, week 2, starting with our point totals, standings, blah, blah, blah. Brian, congratulations with a first place score of 176.92. Fuck you. Dusty, congratulations. Ginger Avenger coming in hot on his heels. 174.72. A little bit of a drop off. Congratulations to my co-host in the number 3 spot. 151.46. Not bad at all. Coming in at our 4th place spot in the point lead, and our first loser in the bracket, Mitchell, 138.72. A good score, but not good enough. Leading the loser board, that's going to be Jordan with 119.28. Then we have me, 117.9. Not a good score. Not a good score at all. However, it is a score that still allowed me a victory. We'll get to that. Morgan, well, like I said, wheels came off the fucking wagon for Morgan. Like a dramatic 60-point drop in score from week 1 to week 2 for Morgan. 112.74 and a loss. But still not our worst. One name left to go here. And the reason that I was still able to eke out a victory with my own not very good score, Blake with an absolute garbage score of 97.36. Not even triple digits. Bruh. Big preach.
Big preach, brah. Well, so was there any surprises there in week 2 to you?
I mean, I guess for me it would be both Dusty's dramatic and impressive turnabout on his score. Going from, what do we have here for week 1? Yeah, Dusty went from dead last week 1 with 104 points to number 2 week 2. So good work, Dusty. Impressive turnabout. I'd say Dusty, and if I'm being honest, no offense, man, your victory. That was a little surprising. I'm sorry. I thought
that illustrates your prowess here, because I predicted my victory quite easily on the episode we did last week. So
you predict you're gonna win no matter what, which, while impressive, I mean that it.
Well, be that as it may, I'm right now.
This time, yes, you are.
I'm right and you're wrong, so fucking eat it, you know? Like,
okay, I was wrong. You're an impressive fantasy football manager and beat the ish out of your poor, innocent little brother. Like picking on the mentally challenged kid.
How did your matchup with Blake go?
Yeah, that's right. That's worse. Yeah, beating... No, because looking at my score, that's like 2 mentally challenged kids having a fight. That's not... I'm not punching down.
Okay. Alright.
Just like, I have that, like, superior, No. That's definitely getting us canceled. My mental challenges allowed me greater prowess than Blake's. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. That's fair. So, do you have anything else to add in before we get to week 3 matchups?
Not currently, other than I still wish bad things on you, Brian. Love you, man.
I want to go on record again and say that I'm not for, nor do I condone his wishing testicular torsion on anyone.
I did not say that. I did not specify. But since you brought that up, I gotta tell you, Brian, it makes it so much funnier to me to know that you know exactly what that feels like. That just makes it even funnier to me.
I disagree. I cringe at the words because it makes my nether regions kind of sore. All right, well, jumping into the week 3 matchups here in this league, I guess first we'll look at Morgan at 1-1 versus Blake, who is currently sitting at 0-2. Morgan had one player already go. That was his running back for New England. Gave him a whopping 1.3 points. So now we have a projected final of Morgan 115 to Blake's 128. If those hold true, it would be good news for Blake because God knows he needs a victory, needs to avoid going 0-3 because that's going to be a deep rut to dig yourself out of. But I mean, what's Morgan's roster look like?
Look, I'm gonna be real, but for their game, this is anybody's game to lose. Like, it's not gonna be about who wins this game. It's gonna be about whose team shits the bed more.
So, what's your prediction then?
I'm actually gonna say Morgan wins just because he's actually managed to get a victory so far. And I'm seeing a trend in Blake that I think is going to continue past week 3.
Well, maybe this is just because I want to avoid seeing this for your sake, Blake, but I'm picking Blake to go ahead and win this matchup. I think the less than 1.5 from one of Morgan's starting running backs is going to come back to bite him.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But either way, I mean, best case scenario for Blake, you got both of these teams leaving this matchup at 1-2. They both have quite an uphill battle. The next game we'll jump to, I guess, is the matchup of Jordan versus Dusty. This is projected to be a fairly even matchup. When I was writing this all down, they had Dusty projected for 137, Jordan for 132. They're both at 1-1. Jordan, I know you're going to get into this, but his running back is injured, so instead of having Mixon in there, he has Jahmyr Gibbs and Tony Pollard. The Pollard thing might be a gutsy, risky thing. Just looking at this, I think Dusty's probably going to win. I think we have Dusty coming out at 2-1 and Jordan at 1-2. Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm pulling for you in spirit, Jordan, but objectively, yeah, I think Dusty's going to take this one.
Breezing right through these. Next, we have the matchup of me and Mitchell. We've each had one player play. I had Garrett Wilson give a solid yet underwhelming performance once again of 14 points, and Mitchell is still living in tight end hell. He made the decision right before the game started to drop the New York Jets defense, pick up Hunter Henry for New England, and inserted him into his lineup with confidence, and Henry scored 2.9 points. So,
if anybody's curious, the Jets defense got 16 points.
Yeah, Jets
in
defense
that game.
did pretty
That would
decent.
have been a much better start than what you did there, Mitchell. Kind of fucked yourself.
You know, as far as predictions for this game, I've had to dip into the waiver wire because I had yet another starter and landed in my IR slot this week with George Kittle. So, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to take the victory, but it's getting fucking harder to piece together these rosters, and it's week fucking 3. This is ridiculous. The year I take fucking McCaffrey, he reverts to Carolina McCaffrey. I mean, it fucking figures, but
That is hilarious.
The other reason I'm fairly confident in my victory is because last week Mitchell had a decent score, but that was with over-performances from Derrick Henry. Huge over-performance from James Cook whenever they were playing the hapless Miami Dolphins after Tua got yet another concussion. Over-performance from Chase because, he finished with 20, Jefferson finished with 22 or 23 points, but I think he had a 14-point play in that game. He had like a 70-yard touchdown reception. Otherwise, he was fairly bottled up. So,
and just to point out, all of these over-performances that my co-host has just mentioned, and you still lost that game, Mitchell.
We're going to touch on that later. But, yeah, so Devontae Smith, I would argue, maybe had an overperformance last week, but at the same time, he's virtually their only receiver with A.J. Brown out, and that's going on again this week. So, and they're playing New Orleans, and New Orleans is going to turn into a pumpkin at some point. Like, that's their hot start is not going to continue. I was going to
say, after... It could happen this week. It would absolutely be in character for the Saints to have that blowout game last week, turn around, and just absolutely fall apart this week.
Yeah. But as of now, he's projected at 128. I'm projected at 133. I think mine's going to tick up a little bit because my team is stellar, and I've put together a fantastic team despite all of the injuries. But I'm taking me with confidence in this matchup.
Also going to, maybe not with the same confidence and gusto that you feel about yourself, but yeah, I think you're going to beat Mitchell this week. That'll probably happen, yeah.
All right, so last one to look at for this week is you and Brian. By the way, in the last matchup, Mitchell is obviously coming in at 0-2. I am 2-0. This matchup, you're coming in at 1-1, Brian at 2-0. You've had one player go, Breece Hall, giving you 21 points, bumped up your projection a little bit. So now we have you projected for 135, Brian for 143. Thoughts?
I'm not happy. God damn it. I am confident in my team, but Brian has been the goddamn point lead. Let me see. Is it? So, week 1, Brian was number 3 in points scored. Week 2, Brian is number 1 in points scored. I'm not a smart man, but I can follow the numbers that good. I could get lucky. Zach Charbonnet could have a better game than he's predicted to have, which I'm really counting on at this point. Kelsey could finally get his mind out of Taylor Swift's crotch and on the football field get me some goddamn points.
I think it's got to be something more than that because there's not, as far as I can tell, that much in those pants for him to, be that. I don't get the Taylor Swift thing. I don't think she looks that good. I don't think her music's that good.
I don't get the appeal either. But I mean, there's got to be something there. All of these other famous people are focused on it. But anyway, I believe I have a chance to win. There's always a chance. It could happen. I'm going to be objective here, though. It does not look good for me. I would dearly love to hand Brian his first L of the season, but I'm not confident in that happening.
It's only an 8-point difference in projections, and right now the bar is at Brian 53%, you at 47%. The ESPN app is more confident than you are at this point. That doesn't speak well.
I don't trust the ESPN app projections, and I think I'm pretty sure Brian has better matchups than I do this week. I'm trying to play a couple of those, but
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely taking Brian too in that matchup. So you're taking Brian in the matchup versus you? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that in probabilities.
No, damn it, this is projections. Say it with your chest. Who are you taking in this game, you or Brian?
You know what? Fuck these standings. You're going down, Brian. Your losing streak starts right now. Right here.
Wow.
Going to the shit bowl this season.
Now that's what we look for. That's big talk. All right.
Oh yeah, we can get into the injury report here.
Yeah, so go ahead and let's run through the injury report. What you got for us there?
All right, let's start at the bottom and work our way up here.
The Jeffersons.
Starting at the right. Bottom, Blake, obviously. Blake with one injured person on his team, but it's a biggie. Pacheco. And no Q, no D, no O. That motherfucker is on IR. He gone for a while.
What is his injury? Do you...
I am not sure. I think something with his leg.
Hell of a job researching you did there. All right.
Well, if Blake is living and dying with Pacheco, and based on this score, that might be the case, it's going to be a fun shit bowl. Moving past that, Morgan, also one guy with an injury. Unfortunately, Antonio Brown is out for week 2. This is unfortunate. I like AB. Probably hurting Morgan a little bit more.
All right, so hold on a couple of things real quick. We're going into week 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown has not played in the NFL for like 2-3 years now. AB retired when he walked out in the middle of a Buccaneers game and started stripping off his jersey.
Oh, yeah.
I believe... I don't know who owns... You may
Brown,
be talking about
excuse
A.J.
me.
Brown.
A.J. Brown. Out with hamstring. Since we're going to bother to look into this. I'm not wrong, though. Antonio Brown is also out.
That is factually correct.
All right, moving past that to me. Unfortunately, got a pretty good spread of injuries on the White Lightning's roster here. Love, doubtful. Mostert, questionable. Cup and Debo are out this week. None of that matters. I have successfully played the waivers, had some reserve players. I'm fielding a good team. Still skittish, but it's not going to matter. If he can do it, I can do it. Jordan, as he said earlier, got a running back with Mixon out for this week. And then Marvin, Maurice, Pittman Jr.
Michael Pittman Jr.
Michael Pittman Jr. Questionable this week. And Mitchell on his team, Emmanuel Ingram, who is out.
Evan Ingram.
Why do I always want to say Emmanuel? I did that last week. Uh, is Ingram white or black?
He's an African American.
See, I just don't think Evan is a black enough name. I don't want to default to like Emmanuel.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't endorse this statement, nor does Trailer Trash Talk's Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. Continue.
Bro, when's the last time you met anybody named Evan?
I don't think I've ever known anyone named Evan.
Does Evan not strike you as like a more
I think we
Caucasoid
I
name?
think this is a subject we should move on from.
All right, let's move on to injuries on your team then. Kittle out for the week, and I know, again, just to mention it one more time, your number one draft pick of the season, McCaffrey, no D, no Q, no O, IR, and likely to remain there for some time now.
Yep. It's continuing to be a stellar and brilliant move on my part to pick up Jordan Mason days before they announced that McCaffrey would miss that game.
That was definitely a good call on your part. Some might say that was a better decision than the decision to draft
Some
McCaffrey.
may say that.
Moving on to Dusty. Dusty's team kind of looks like mine. Got a stack of injuries here, but he is not letting it slow him down at all. Keenan Allen out for the week, and Njoku also out for the week. And unfortunately, poor old Puka Nakua sitting on the IR, also likely to be gone for a while. Wish him well. Hopefully my points are better because he's out, but I hope he heals good.
I thought Cooper Kupp was injured as well.
He is.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah, we talked about that on my team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Drink some more of your Red Bull.
Yep. All right.
That leaves us right now with Brian. Let's see. Kenneth Walker, the third. Doubtful. Nick Chubb is out, and Jonathan Brooks also out. Hopefully those negatively impact your team more than they look like they're going to.
I don't think they will because the Brooks and Chubb have not played this season, and I don't think Walker has played this season.
Well, hell.
So, yeah, you're not getting any reprieves there. Alright, well, real quick, I want to bring up something funny that happened yesterday. In a little pre-show planning we were doing yesterday, somehow wrestling came up, and we were talking for a little while about, the general character of some of these different wrestlers over the years, and how it seems like there's a decent few that were, really good people, and we could appreciate that. And The Rock came up, and, it's not worth going into all of the things that we said about The Rock. Just know they were probably overwhelmingly good. At some point, though, Justin asks me, with confidence, you know who The Rock's father is, right? And he said it in such a way that definitely made me feel as though I should have known. And I say, no? He says, the black guy from Conan. And I'm left in a state of confusion because the black guy from Conan was Wilt Chamberlain. I was about 99% sure that Wilt Chamberlain was not Dwayne Johnson's father. And when I confirmed that this is what Justin meant by the black guy from Conan, he's like, yeah. So we, of course, then Googled this statement and obviously found out it was incorrect. But this dude thought that Wilt Chamberlain was The Rock's father. I mean, is the gist of that story, and that was just amazing to me. That was absolutely amazing. There is nothing in the way they look and the body type and anything at all to...
All right. Apparently Wilt Chamberlain wrestled or trained something with The Rock's father is where I got that mixed up. I was confident, though.
He was very confident. So, what I want to do now is jump to another segment that borrowed from one of our, one of our brethren, in the show business. I know it's a real show. It's actually my favorite show in sports right now. It's First Things First on FS1. It's worth a watch. But this is Stank's Under Duress list, and I'm going to go through 3 teams that time to really, turn it around, turn it up, because shit's getting real for you.
Cowboys, Patriots, the Browns.
No, I'm actually talking about teams in our league. But, that's a pretty good guess for 3 teams that need to turn it around. So, first up on Stank's Under Duress list, or the SUD list, is Blake. No real surprise here. Blake's team has started off 0-2. Saying this non-biased. I mean, this is factually correct. It's statistically the worst team in the league through 2 weeks, underperforming from top to bottom. One could argue maybe it wasn't a well-drafted team. One could argue the team has been underperforming. Either way, it started off pretty terribly for Blake with a 0-2 start. He was he in the ship bowl last year?
No, I don't think so. I thought it went down to Mitchell and Morgan.
I didn't think Morgan was in the ship bowl. No, I'm pretty sure it was Blake.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Blake was in the shit bowl. So
yeah,
he ended his season last year in the shit bowl. He started out 0-2, just not great as far as the momentum, But you know what, Blake? I believe in you. I think you're going to avoid the same end of the season result this year. So let's see what you do with it.
I mean, you're right. I think he will avoid the same end of the season result. I think he'll do worse.
Next on the list is my co-host here. Now, despite being the reigning champion, allegedly, I, again, blacked out towards the end of last year. I don't remember that at all. He started the season out at what could be somewhat of a fugazi because he's 1-1, but realistically, just like the end of last year, he got an early victory on what should have been a loss, because had he played anybody else in the league last week, he loses.
By that token, had I played almost anyone else in the league week 1, I would have won. I did fine week 1. I just played Morgan, who had his best game of the season.
The way the SUD list works is I go through mine, and then I'm going to ask if you have any additions, comments, objections. So, not only are you 1-1, very realistically could have been 0-2, but you're third from last as far as points scored in this league. You're not that far off from the bottom scorer in the league. There's a number of things on your team that don't seem to be pointed the right direction. But you know what? I believe in a lot of the players on your team. So I think you can avoid where your season has started. But as I predicted, you would not start 7, 8, 9-0 again, whatever it was last year. I also don't think you're going to finish as poorly as you look to start the season. So, we'll see where it goes from there. And lastly, on the SUD list, and this shouldn't be a surprise, is Mitchell. Now, Mitchell going back to last year, I think is like on a 5 or 6 game losing streak, perhaps. 0-2 so far this year, obviously. Lost the last 2 matchups in a row last year. That's how he ended up being our shit bowl champion. And I'm assuming he lost a game or 2 leading up to the playoffs. So yeah, he's on quite the losing streak right now. Last week, as we pointed out earlier, he put up a decent score, had several of his players overperform, and still couldn't get the W. So it kind of... you're going to get a win. I mean, it's statistically improbable, Mitchell, that you're going to finish the season without a win. It could even be this week, because my team, as I mentioned earlier, is battered and tattered. So it wouldn't shock me if this week I lay a dud and Mitchell gets that victory. It's not going to happen. But statistically, that wouldn't be, something that's shocking. Not to me, anyway. But despite that, I mean, you're having the same fucking issues as last year. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are underperforming. Check. Same as last year. Tight end purgatory. Check. Same as last year. The motherfucker has even used some of the New Orleans tight end. He used him at one point last year, and I think got a goose egg from him in a game last year as well. History is repeating itself. Time is supposed to march on, Mitchell. What are you doing?
He's gunning for a nipple ring. That's what he's shooting for. At this point, I think Mitchell actually wants piercings, and sabotaging his fantasy season is the way he acquires them while making it seem like he doesn't actively want these things.
So, yeah, like I said, I assume he's towards the bottom in the overall points. I don't know. I didn't look. I just know the performance altogether has been nothing less than subpar. So, Mitchell, I believe you believe in your abilities. So, let's see what you can do. But right now, I think you're headed right towards the same end-of-season results as last year.
Well, slightly different. We can't get his belly again.
Well, I mean, as far as the standings end of season.
Yeah. And to touch on, you're right. It is statistically improbable he goes the whole time without losing a game. He's got to play Blake at some point.
Let's see. Did you have anything else to add?
Let's see. So, this is just a random diss to like 3 of you guys. Everybody pay attention to Rashid Shaheed on my team this week. Watch, fellas. This is how you play a good Saints player. This is how you plug in a good... you guys suck. Y'all play home team players and they shit the bed for y'all every time. My guy's gonna do awesome, and I don't even fucking like the Saints. So, sit and be jealous.
I think it is very possible this week that teams are going to start to key on to the fact that they're using Shaheed as a downhill threat, a downfield threat, and they're going to pay attention to him because he's really their only downfield threat you have to worry about, and they've seen that Carr is hitting those, so I think it's possible Olave has a better game. I also think it's possible the Eagles shock everybody and shock the Saints. Like I said, I expect them to turn back into pumpkins at some point this season.
Well, I don't care how much of a dumpster fire the Saints end up having for a game. I just need Carr to, as you say, hit 2 or 3 of those deep threat shots, and everything else is gravy.
Your team looks kind of... I don't know. I'm not shocked that you're 1-1, potentially 0-2. I guess looking at your roster, I'm surprised. Honestly, you have somebody injured.
I have. well, I have 4 people injured right now. Are you not paying attention when I'm talking during this thing?
I'm absolutely paying attention.
Yeah, my original quarterback got hurt week 1. He's still probably doubtful for this
Jordan,
week.
I mean, that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Mostert's questionable. Cup and Samuel is out.
Oh, Deebo Samuel. All right,
Yeah, so, like, my 2 preferred wide receivers are,
Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, because especially, I mean, my team is somewhat weak at wide receiver, but your team looks worse than mine at wide receiver, and I was confused. I also think your quarterback is at some point going to turn back into a pumpkin. I don't think Baker is going to continue his
I just need him to last long enough for Love to heal.
I don't know, dude. Like, the Kelsey pick, because I had Kelsey last year, affects my opinion. The fact that I think New Orleans is going to turn back into New Orleans.
I'm going to be honest. Kelsey is hurting at this point. I really might just plug Goddard in. Like, he's had a better season so far.
I mean, I'm not...
We're 2 weeks in, so that's not like...
Well, dating back to last season, I think regular season-wise, Goddard may be your better option than Kelsey anymore. Well, shit.
Nah.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I guess that's all we have to talk to you fuckers about this week. Like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps us with the algorithm thingy. And...
The algorithm. And we are... By the way, you may have seen in the comments, we're getting ready for the super new channel kickoff extravaganza. Word on that will be released as soon as we finalize some things, you know. But yeah, be on the lookout. And you know what? When we hit 10 subscribers... They have another extravaganza, you know.
Yeah.
Got to try and drive these numbers up, man. I mean, like I said, I don't know what we did to get 300 on the other one, but seems
right. I mean, come on, we can at least hit double digits again.
Yeah. So I don't know if even there should be at least fucking 7 subscribers to this channel. Let's see, because I'm gonna be pissed if 5 subscribers. Come on, guys. There's 2 of you motherfuckers that hadn't subscribed that need to be subscribed. There should be 7 subscribers here. Fuck. Dusty, come on, dude. I know one of them's you. I'm guessing it's Dusty and Morgan. Let's pick this shit up. Come on. Alright, well, I think that's all I got.
Yep.
Well, alright. So, we will be recording a, I guess, review and next week preview episode. Probably next weekend, I'll assume, because I'm working all week this week again. So, yeah, probably... before or on next Sunday, this will be when we get the next episode. So be on the lookout for that. Until then, everybody take care. We truly value your viewership. We would love if you hit the like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications, and all of you 7 from our league, and especially Mitchell this week, you can suck my dick.